Welcome back. London is home to tens of thousands of my fellow Somalis who've escaped the civil war back home. There have been many success stories of people restarting their lives, but there's also a lot of poverty and alienation. Over the last few years, a terrible trend has emerged of the murder of many young Somali boys, often at the hands of other young Somalis. I spoke to some of them. The guy who'd phoned in during the radio programme, Molid, had talked about Southall. I think he'll know a lot about what's going on here. But is it really that bad, the Somali boys getting attacked?
It's that bad because you got 20 young boys hanging around in one area, and then you can just leave here from here to the other side of the corner, and you've got another 20 kids on the other side. Yeah. It could be a clash.
Do you think the willingness to fight anyone, even your brother,
people,
comes from the drugs, or is it about something else?
It comes from the individuals. There's individuals out there who wanted to be someone. To them, they want to be somebody.
Do you think there'll be a chance that we'll be able to talk to some of the boys?
Yeah, there'll be a chance. It's just without a camera, I think we'll be able to go in there and talk to them.
Okay. Mohammed.
No, no one's getting interviewed.
There's no camera. It's just a voice recording.
No, let's just listen to each other, man.
If we've got problems as a whole community, we have to talk about our problems honestly.
It's the way the police promote the crimes that young Somalians do, and the way it's represented by the media.
It's partly that. It's partly the way they represent us. But when you start getting Somali boys, knifing and killing and shooting other Somali boys, why do you think that is?
Because if you don't, people are going to realize that you're weak and they're going to come back for you. So it's better to show what you're made of now the first time, rather than people keep coming back for you and beating you up or killing you, I'm saying? You
know people that's happened to, who've been attacked like that?
It happens every day. Just people, there's been recent killing for nothing, people dying over nothing, I'm saying? It's trivial things.
It is it's about dominance. You have to be the dominant.
Someone said to me, look, it's about the money that we're making. That's why it's happened. I can understand that.
For nothing, not for drugs, not for money, for probably being not even about status, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. If I saw someone who's our friend, I would take action.
We're partly to blame for this, yeah. The government or the police, they can't really do much about it. A lot of the blame is on us.
Just the money. What could you earn, in a week?
Say more money than you earn in a month. Anything else you want to know?
I think we're done. Thanks very much. No problem. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Good take care.
When I went upstairs to the room to talk to them, quite a lot of things struck me about what they said, but two things stand out. One of them was when one of the boys said, you see them, those older Somali guys? They're here day and night, they're chewing cat, they're spending the family's money, they're not with their kids, they're certainly not giving us any guidance. And how on earth can we respect them? And if they dared to try and discipline us, none of us would stand for it. And all his friends around him shook their heads vigorously. And just as I was leaving, one of the boys said something that was really powerful. And he said to me, why are we talking about this when it's 10 years too late? Too late for Mahir Osman of Camden, but perhaps not for his killers who are serving time in prison. The parents of two of these boys are desperate to salvage something from this tragedy. They've asked me to come to North London for a meeting in the hope of a reconciliation with Mahir's mother, Asha. Why do you want to visit the family of Mahir Osman?
Somali.
She wants you to speak in Somali.
Mariam, why do you want to meet the family?
I feel very sorry. I feel the boy who died was as much my own flesh and blood as my own son who is in prison. It's like one has died and another has been taken from me.
I am very unhappy that the boy died, and I will always be sad about it. If this had happened to my son, I would have expected the family of those responsible to apologize to me. I have not apologized, but today, I, Muhammad Hassan, am ready to apologize, and the other parents are ready also. We want you to come with us.
I'm ready to go with you.
Thank you.
What the families have done, and they've asked me to come along, is to go to a meeting with Mahir's family, to ask for their forgiveness and to seek reconciliation. And it's something you rarely see happening in the Somali communities in Britain. And I think this could be an element of our culture that could be a powerful tool to try and help what is happening, to some of the boys, and in order to build a wider sense of community and cohesion, try to find some of the answers as to what's happening to our young boys.
You are late.
We are sorry for that. It is our fault.
But we are Somalis. You know our traditions. You should have apologized sooner.
It is a saying in our country that even though 100 people died, you must save the ones who are alive. But we want to apologize to everyone in your family.
Your son who died is like my own flesh and blood, and the ones in prison are also our children. And although we are late, we ask for your forgiveness.
Again, we ask for your forgiveness.
Asha said very movingly that, I can't forgive what has happened to my son, what was done to my son by your sons. But what I can do is to accept your prayers and to accept the fact that you have asked for my forgiveness. And I hope that a door has been opened here for something good to come out of this. But can there be a resolution for the family of the murdered boy, Abdullah Jama? One of those believed to be responsible for Abdullah's death has yet to be caught, but his family still live in the Jama's neighborhood. Musa Jama fears his sons will take revenge for their brother's death.
I believe he would have wanted his brothers not to take revenge because that would only make things worse. I hope nothing bad will happen. With God's mercy, he will go to paradise.
But one thing at least has changed in Woolwich. Some of the Somali elders have taken to the streets, trying to reach the young men they believe might be a danger to themselves and the community. How long have you two been doing this then?
It's the third, since Abdullah died.
But when Abdullah was shot in the street.
That is the wake-up call for us.
But what about the police? I mean, are the police trying to play an active role? Is it because they don't know what the situation is or what?
They know, Raggy, to be honest, they know everything about it.
Yeah.
Their presence and our presence, it matters.
Right, the presence of the police and your presence.
Even our presence without police, now they would just run away.
Yeah. Ahmed Hassan and Hamza Ahmed are part of a nighttime team patrolling one of the toughest and most troubled neighborhoods in Woolwich. So far, they've scored a few successes, convincing some to change their ways, but most often, the boys run off when they see these elders approach. We'll stay back.
To be safe, to study, to have a future in this country, not hanging around 11 o'clock there in here. You understand? That's what the main important thing what we are doing. We, as a Somali community, have a responsibility on you.
I mean, if you hang around in places where there are problems, it'll come to you.
But we are not
we're not saying you're involved.
You and me, you know them. They have no opportunity. I wish all the guys who was there, they could come here and take that opportunity.
But it's just this area that gets all the attention. Exactly. For now, it's just this one area, but it's an initiative they hope will spread throughout the entire Somali community. I don't pretend that these problems affecting this generation of lost boys in the Somali community are going to be ended anytime soon. Or, sadly, that we've seen the last Somali boy to be killed at the hands of another Somali boy. But what I have seen is that there are people, young and old, who are willing to stand up and to finally break this silence that has shrouded this crisis in our midst for far too long. And maybe, too, we're beginning to realize that the myth of return is exactly that, a myth. And that perhaps finally we're realizing that this, for good or ill, is home.